5 years ago from this day, the world was graced with West of Loathing, a comedy RPG that quickly became a personal favorite of mine. The writing was clever, the combat simple to understand, and the puzzles, oh so enticing. Now, 5 years into the future, I create a video on what will generally be perceived as the most difficult challenge to have ever graced this game. Hello my fellow entities of the interwebs, my name is Generic Mystic, and let us begin our magical journey. Before beginning this run, I suppose that I owe an explanation as to what this will entail. To put it simply, we have the following constraints. We are not allowed to use experience points to level up in this run. This means that all of our stats, skills, and combat actions will stay at the minimum level of 1 for the entire journey. We must equip the hard hat and complete the game with it. This means that all the enemies will be tougher and scale much higher than in a normal difficulty run. We must complete all major side quests, which includes the Breadwood Problems, the Necromancer, the Hell Cows, and the Roberto Containment. This is in addition to defeating Norton at the end of the game. And finally, to better balance this run and to ensure that we cannot cheese it, we are also going to ban the use of combat items and the Energized effect. Both can be used to bypass any form of challenge that comes from being at level 1, so as such, both will remain off limits. Now then, let's begin the tutorial. Upon loading our character, we will have to choose a class. I chose to go with Beanslinger as it will allow our melee and gun attacks to be less hampered by the scaling with most enemies compared to Mysticality. Afterwards, we have to pick a book to receive from our mother. I personally go with lockpicking as it is an extremely versatile and useful skill. This is compared to bartering, which will barely save us any meat that we will get during the run, and forging, which we will just get better consumables for. We then receive the can of infinite beans from our father, talk to our brother, and set out for boring springs. From here, we just do the normal tutorial stuff. Seeing that what happens here won't be too important to the main run, just try to maximize the amount of meat that you gain. This means collecting all 6 mugs, collecting the ill-gotten gains, arresting the Fricker Gang, recovering the Ghost Horse, the Crazy Horse, the Dark Horse, collecting the 3 rocks to sell the peat, and killing the Goblin. Also be sure to collect the shovel, crowbar, and skinning knife, and don't forget to ram yourself against a cactus for the mostly scabs perk. The partner of choice for me is Susie for the high single target damage and wooden cover, so let's get out of this boring place and start the real fun. Starting off with the first leg of our journey, we get a room, unlock a new skill, mail a postcard, buy some flowers, and take on some jobs from the jail. There are 5 in total, so let's carve through them all one at a time. The first is the Stripy Hat Gang. Going to Cavern Canyon nets us a knife along with a giant spider that doesn't like us very much. Prying some boards off, we can go into the second entrance, open a door, enter the third cave, grab some alcohol, and arrest the gang. The Potemkin gang is simple enough to complete. Walk in front of the jail to get the first guy over, walk close to the last multiple times to scare her over, and then tell the second guy to check the jail. After that, go to the back of the outhouse, drop the jail, and arrest them all. The Black Hat Bandits are a game of spot the difference. The first room is obvious with the opposite colored hat. The second room requires you to wait until you see one of the hats move. The third has a less shallow dip on the top of the hat. The fourth has you moving close to each of the hats to see where the Z's come out of. And the last room has you playing Public Domain Joe on the player piano and find where the whistling is coming from. After all 5 are rounded up, make the arrest. The Gherkin brothers follow 3 short puzzles. In the Cuke room, pull the right lever until you can't anymore, then pull the left lever until the left and right levels match, and then pull the middle until all 3 are lined up. After that, the second room requires you to make the salt equal to 976. That is simple enough. The third room, you can just jiggle the temperature between raising it 4 and 5 degrees until it equals 190 between the venting and the adding of temperature. And when all 3 rooms are complete, just pull that crank for the pickles and you'll get the remains. Next, let's actually go and progress the main story. Getting to the railroad camp, we can unlock both Buttonwillow's store and Gustavsen Gulch. Head to the store to get another skill unlocked along with a lock and oil if available. Once you've gotten a bone, a lock, and oil, you can breeze through and arrest the House in the Desert gang. Also take this time to go to the silversmith's house and unlock the silver plater. Alright, enough of this scatterbrainness. We go to Gustavsen Gulch, fight the Mare Goblin, and lose. Oh. Well, that's hard mode for you. So, how do we get past this? The options for just buying the dynamite and earning it from the circus are there, but that doesn't really solve the problem of losing every fight that we come across. So with that in mind, we have to grind. Whoa, 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 whoa. Now I know what you're thinking. How can you grind if you're at level 1? What's the point? And to that, I have 2 reasons. Partner and items. Susie herself can level up, gaining higher stats, more damage, and a larger resistance to hot damage. Additionally, there is a slew of items that you can get from wandering. On screen now is every single item that you can get, and the ones that I'm circling here will be useful to us later. So now comes the fun part. Hitting spacebar over and 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 over until we get to that level, and we spend roughly 40 minutes doing that, and nothing else at all. And then we beat the shiny look off of that goblin's forehead. With free reign of the Gulch, we enter the 2nd house, read How to Bird Noise, enter the 6th house, read the important secrets on the desk, enter the 4th house, search the drawers, enter the 7th house, sneak backstage, lockpick into the 8th house, learn about some goblin named Jean, enter the treasure cave, dispatch the 3 guards, loot the chest, and make our way back to the train. Upon delivering and detonating the dynamite, a rock monster will appear, blocking the way. You can either make it disappear with a stat check of your class's M-stat at 20, or alternatively, you can just fight it. As a bean slinger, having both bean wall and blood beans makes it almost impossible to lose. I'm serious, your game will probably crash before you get knocked out if the fight runs long enough. With the threat now clear, the tracks can be laid, opening up the 2nd section of the game. Now in the 2nd leg, the game becomes much more difficult for us. Our first stop is the 2nd railroad camp, where we will unlock Roy Bean's house and Brentwood. From there, we make it to the rundown town that awaits us. The mayor has a list of 7 different problems for us, and we have to solve every single one of them for this challenge. Accept them all, go into the bar to buy another skill unlock, wet boots, and the mushroom plucking pliers. From there, enter the bunkhouse, get directions to the postal station, get the camera and the petting cemetery location, and then make your way to the Old Schmaltz Brewery. There will be a bit of chaos inside, but stay calm. Sample the contents, pass the 20 Moxie skill check, and take a bag of yeast for the road. Our next stop is the military cemetery. Visit plots 13, 666, and 420, learning plenty about mushrooms. Investigate the shack to unlock Fort Memoriam for the grave tender. We will get to that in a moment, but first... ew, Ghostwood. Alright, ordering the buildings A, B, C, D, and E. Let's just blitz through this. Go to E, go to D, go to E, fill out the form, 6 bars, pencil sharpen, go to E, fill out the form, 10 bars, go to E, go to B, go to C, go to D, fill out the form, go to C, go to B, go to E, go to C, go to B, go to A, go to B, go to E, fill out the form, go to Breadwood, talk to the mayor, get that pencil back, go to Ghostwood, go to E, and never forget this miserable experience. Anyways, let's go to the Postal Way Station now. Trespass and check the drawers in the back of the room and then completely forget about doing this. We are going to go pet skeletons. Pay the admission, photograph that owl, see the missing skeletons, get their locations, and then run to the Kellogg Ranch. We take the keyring, take the ape skeleton, take all that grain, and then take that barbed wire. From there, we go to the Fort of Darkness, take the pack rat, loot the last tent for goodies, and then finally travel to the buffalo pile. Oh boy, into the vat room we go, filling a beaker with milk lemonade. Out comes a beaker of fudge, the best consumable item in the game. We also combine milk, blood, and ichor to get the buffalo reanimating fluid, take the keys, the buffalo bones, loot the books, loot the lockers, and then make Buffalo Bill to assist us in combat. We then return the skeletons and make it to the Baker Boys' hideout. Here you can use your unlimited bones, unlimited grain, a mysticality check, or recruit Louise from Lazy Dude Ranch to help the boys make bread. Give her a bar of soap, and then checking back in on the bakers will yield the bread needed. Now we remember about the mail thing that we had to do. Go back to Dirtwater, get the code sheet to decipher the postman's whereabouts, and ride our horse to Chuck's house. Just check everything in the house, talk to Chuck, swap the labels, talk to him to get the tea brewing, jump a lot so you move faster in his room, take the key, take the mail, and get out. Next up is Alexandria Ranch. I'd buff up your stats with food to help with this fight, as 3 cows at once can quickly overwhelm you. With Susie and BBB Bill by your side though, this fight will be a lot easier. After clearing out the enemies, take the overdue book, check the cannonball, and make your way to Fort Treason. It is here that we need to grab the targeting flare and the P.O. box key. We then go back to Dirtwater again, unlock the box to get the ballistics chart, go to Alexandria Ranch again to place the targeting flare, then travel to Fort Treason again, load the cannon, and fire! Going back to the ranch will reveal an open bunker where we can obtain and read the percussive maintenance book. Next location, soup stock load. First 2 bowls can be gotten in the entrance. We can then smack the elevator using the percussive maintenance perk that we got, scoop up the 3rd and 4th bowls from the next room, and then wear those wet boots to get that hot resistance to get the 5th bowl. And if it hasn't been enough time since the Ghostwood permit has been filled out, then just sleep away the days so you can get the logging permit. I'd never want to see this place again. Now to Roy Bean's House of Justice. We are tasked with recovering each jar of jelly beans, starting with the Jelly Bean Thieves. Getting rid of them is incredibly easy, as simply using your honorable nature will have them leave. From there you can recover the first jar of jelly beans. The second has you going to Old Grandad, an extremely large cactus with goblins inside. Give the first a bar of soap and fight the second. I suggest fighting, as otherwise you will have to pass a stat check of 45 Moxie or Mysticality, which is a downright pain. Third Goblin can be taken care of by throwing some ingredients together, and the cluster can be reasoned with by your most basic of conversation check. The final jar of jelly beans takes us to the Shroom Cave. Pluck some of those Lectaria Startahippica mushrooms, go to the Fort of Darkness to convert one to the extract, go back to the cave, down the substance, and enter the secret lounge for the final jar of jelly beans. Our final stop is Fort Memoriam, where we must clear through each of the 4 reenactment scenarios. Here's how to clear all 4 with simplicity. The Battle of Cow Ridge can be cleared by Hell Missiling the Army Grunt opposite to you, followed by Hell Bolting the Army Medic and the other Army Grunt. The Battle of Medley has you Hell Missiling the Army Sniper first, and then the Army Medic after. From there, only a single Hell Bolt on the Army Grunt will end the battle. Lobber's Battle puts us against 5 Army Grenadiers at once. Hell Raise your Infantry Steer once, and then Hell Missile one of the Army Grenadiers not in the line of the Infantry Steer. Next turn, Hell Heal yourself, and Hell Bolt the other Army Grenadier not in your Infantry Steer's row. If you get to low health, Hell Heal again, and keep attacking for the win. Early Skirmish is our final battle, and has the dumbest solution of them all. For the first 2 turns, spend all AP on Hell Raising the Bovermind and Hell Bolting the Army Demon Hunter. By your 3rd turn, you will be invincible to their attacks and can take them down one at a time for a final victory. When all 4 scenarios are won, talk to the Grave Tender to get them back on duty, go back to Brentwood and talk to the mayor to get the lumber for the bridge, relay the message to Smee, and have the train go all the way to Frisco. On to the 3rd leg of our journey, and time to wrap it up at that. Before taking on Norton, though, we should focus on those other major side quests. Starting with the cows, unlock the circus, and pay your way through every obstacle in your path. In the sideshow tent, check the clown mirror 3 times, check the eyeball man for blinking, talk to the clown, and ask if they blink, carefully inspect the eggs, and repeat a few times to raise the clown suspicion level. From there, you just need to win the largest prize from any of the 3 attractions to get access to the main show. Don't flinch, get the useless coupon, and make your way backstage. When talking to Barnaby Bob, choose the following. What are you doing here? You're here because of the cows. You need me. I'm serious. Failure to properly navigate this dialogue will softlock you out of this quest. Completing this dialogue will unlock Danny's Tannery, the next location on our list. Go through each fight, dealing with skin cows and clowns like there are no... Oh, that's not good. Eat tainted meat, sleep, and keep doing it until you get cow-rupted. Then travel to Hellstrom Ranch and just wander. After enough of that, you'll get the Infernal Mallet, the best muscle-based melee weapon in the game. Go to the Silver Plater to plate it and get a nice triple damage bonus against both cows and clowns. Before going back to the tannery, slap on the best muscle-based gear and food you have and dive in. From there, oh yeah, I need to be faster. Get the boon of the Jackrabbit from the petting cemetery, go back, and drop the banhammer. When all foul presences are cleared, talk to Grady, get the cow's bane seeds, part ways, and plate the barbed wire from before. Our next step is to go to Lazy A Dude Ranch, talk to the farmer that doesn't sell the herbal remedies, ask to grow cow's bane, give the plated fencing, and then wait a few days for it to grow. In the meantime, go to the Humming Cave, get past the snake, and get the El Vibrato Triangle. Follow it to the professor's house, find some scrap, fabricate a keystone, go to the Lost Dutch Oven Mine, grab the second device, give it to the professor, get the scrap for a battery, fabricate and turn on the terminal, placing the cylinder into its proper spot for power. After enough bumbling around, get the bale of cow's bane and travel to Hellstrom Ranch. Spread the cow's bane, strike the bell with the infernal mallet, and trap Duke Bovicus, defeating the cows. As for the Necromancer, gathering clues from various locations like the Dave Yard, Old Mission, Fort All Dead, Military Cemetery, Shroom Cave, Reboot Hill, and Buffalo Pile, along with the ley lines diagram from the Professor, you can find the Necromancer's Tower. Reading all of the Next books allows you to become the Necromancer, taking down another major side quest. And then, containing Roberto. We try to win the easier fight, consuming the best consumables we have, and yeah, we don't win. And if we can't win with our best consumables, we can't win at all. So unfortunately, level 1, the Beanslinger, despite everything they have done, cannot complete this challenge. It is time for the last leg of our journey. Where level 1, the Beanslinger, has failed, level 1, the Snake Oiler, will succeed. The first step is to play through the first third of the game nearly the same way, ignoring all spittoons. Be sure to buy apples and carrots from Sally to feed your horse for a nice boost to your speed. Also be sure to save 2 tainted milk from the cows you defeat for later. Additionally, examine the inner workings of Janet at the circus for the anatomical learning perk, and be sure to flush every single toilet that you see. Flushing enough toilets will give the Master of Flushing perk. The second step is to have at least 3 dynamite on hand and then do the second third of the game mostly the same way. Some differences is that in the soup stock load, you'll need to enter the El Vibrato room, open the cache, and interact with the terminal, selecting the third option for the seltzer. Additionally, in the Buffalo Pile, you'll want a beaker of lemonade instead of a beaker of fudge. In Region F, there's a one-time random encounter where you can throw a bundle of dynamite to get the smoking gun, which will inflict 5 fire for every bullet that lands. Our next step is to take an El Vibrato keystone to the Lost Dutch Oven Mine, where you'll open this cache. Inside will be a headband, try it on, and then give it to Murray. Invite him to Dirtwater, and then meet him there to retrieve the headband once more. Following it up, travel to Madness Maw Mind and put the headband on the guard outside. Make your way to the depths, and take the cylinder that is inside of the El Vibrato room. It is essential to the Roberto containment, so don't forget to grab it. Once that is done, take a moment to read Dangerously Advanced Next Mechs to get the Dark Howdy combat skill. In exchange for 5 Moxie and 5 Muscle, you'll get 10 Mysticality and stun all enemies for a turn. Now, it is time to go to Frisco. Make sure to have 8 AP and 12 speed to be absolutely safe. Without even bothering with what is inside of Frisco, keep wandering until you get an event with a skeleton covered in seaweed. Fight it, fan hammering with the smoking gun turn 1, and have Susie lasso it. The next turn, Dark Howdy to stun it again. If it is still up, by turn 3, Fan Hammer once more and have it be consumed by the flames, granting the Sea Skull. Now onto Frisco itself. Ignore Norton and instead grab and read the flyer that is on the ground. Then venture inside the bar and check the spittoon to get the Spit Free perk, giving us a free +5 to our M stats. Then talk to Morton to get the whiskey without the rocks. Now to the Abandoned Mine, which you can also find in the same region as Frisco. Enter and go to the back of the tunnel to find another El Vibrato room. Take the cylinder inside and then make your way up to Wasco's Comedy Shack. From here, just wander. If a goblin offers to sell you a pistol, then absolutely buy it. The price is 600 meat, so make sure you have enough on hand to pay. Otherwise, just be on the lookout for the Curious False Mountain and the Curious Flat Plain. First for us is the Curious False Mountain. Inside is a large den of snakes, but with some careful pushing with a muscle check, we can bypass the need to fight. Next comes a Mysticality check, but that too proves to not be a bother. Finally is an El Vibrato drone that I am going to be honest, looks pretty tough. On one hand, we could fight it. Alternatively, we could go back to the Professor, exchange 5 scrap for a teleporter with the third machine, go back to the mountain, and teleport the drone away. Going into the El Vibrato room, slot that cylinder into place, and behold the Time Squeezer. Now here's some instructions. Open the terminal, press the first button, and then the second button, and leave the terminal. Then open it up again, press 3, and then press 2 to get the chrono key. Now, press 2, and then 1, and then leave the terminal. The Time Squeezer should now be active, which means that you can feed scraps through the right end to create El Vibrato pants. Finally, open the terminal, press 1, then 1, and then the first button one last time to set the power to Roberto Containment. Next is the Curious Flat Plain, which has a Moxie check for us to go down a ladder. Reaching the bottom, we get an unusual rod, slot in our last cylinder, and find another terminal that is powered on. To start, press 3 and then 1 to get a large amount of scrap. Press 1 to go back to the primary terminal, and then press 1 twice and then 2. This will direct the power to Roberto Containment, setting up the finale for the El Vibrato quest. Now is the time to prepare. With Chrono Key in hand, travel to the West Pole. Construct all 3 rock structures to get the 3 perks related to it, and hop into the time portal. There are a lot of really good items in here, but what we care about is the glowing ring on the robot and the smiling face button in the tomb. Shop setting up time. Go back to the tannery and send Grady to Dirtwater to open up a shop. After that, go to the Fort of Darkness and send Tony to Dirtwater using the small guns that you got from Fort Memoriam. After that, go to Alexandria Ranch and rescue, Alexandria. Point her to Dirtwater and then do the same with the brewer in the brewery and Doug if you want to. With all the shops open, buy the glimmering thread from Murray, the sharpening strop and the bootstraps from Grady, the inscribed boots from Tony, and the quick and drunk from Alexandria. Next on our list is Hellstrom Ranch, where Duke Bovicus still remains trapped. This time, we will be accepting his boon to lower our health but increase our M stats. After that, go to the Fort of Darkness and listen to the philosopher being philosophical to gain courtesy and philosophy. After that, for the heck of it, plunge your hand into Roy Bean's spittoon to get spittoon hand for some mostly useless resistance that somehow stacks with spit free. Finally, it is time to wear all of the stuff you've collected. Put on the smiling face button, the sigiled pistol, the rock hammer, the sea skull, the glowing ring, the El Vibrato pants, and the inscribed boots. Plate the hat, your tongue, and your weapons, put on an electric snakeskin, the sharpening strop, the glimmering thread, and the bootstraps and polish. Rest up to make sure you have no anger or items consumed for the day. Go to the petting cemetery and get the boon of the owl. Then, go to the Necromancer's Tower and get Dark-Blooded for the additional health. After that, make the trip to Deepest Delve Mine. If you gain a level of anger, go back to Dirtwater and sleep. You need the best possible chance of doing this correctly. Once at the mine, consume the Lactarius Dirtihipica mushroom, the whiskey without the rocks, a can of Schmaltz Blue Ribbon, the beaker of lemonade, 2 tainted milk, and the L Vibrato Seltzer. If everything has been set up correctly, you'll have 11 AP, 16 speed, and 117 mysticality and spell damage. As final preparation, read the Horrifying Concepts of Nex-Mex book for the Rain of Teeth skill, an attack that will hit every enemy on the field. Paired with our magic build, we will dish out a lot of damage. Deepest Delve Mine requires us to clear out 2 hordes of cultists, 1 with a group of 4 and 1 with a group of 8. The cultists themselves either debuff one of your party members, buff themselves, or do a mysticality-based attack that, despite saying spooky, isn't spooky elemented. The floor 2 cultists are easier, so we'll do them first. Begin the fight with the Dark Howdy and have Susie lasso one of the cultists in the back, preferably one that is behind another. BBB Bill will take off half the health from a cultist, but if he targets one that is behind another cultist, the intended damage hits the one in front, meaning that he can kill enemies. The fight for the cross is simple enough, but the second is where things look impossible, to put it lightly. 8 at once is a tall order, but all I can really do at this point is send you to the past, see how it panned out.
Okay, shoot this nerd. Sir, empower me, debuff Buffalo Bill, or Susie. Smite me. Yes, okay, smite me again. Smite me again. No. Okay, Buffalo wins for that first hit at least, okay. Okay. Rain of Teeth. How many we kill? Gah! No. Okay. Okay, we shoot that cultist. Master aid me. Okay, hit me. Yes. I don't care if you buff yourself. Hit me again. Yes! Okay, that's another cultist down. Hit me. No! Okay, whatever. Whatever. Doesn't matter. 2 cultists left! There's 2 cultists left! Hit me. No! Okay. There's a singular cultist left? Yes! Yes!
And with that, we beat the cultist of Roberto, place the keystone in the crossbar, teleport to the El Vibrato control center, put the cross into place, and initialize the containment. For a reward, we get a useless hat, ending the El Vibrato questline. But we're not done yet. Go to the Necromancer's Tower, read every Nex-Mex book, learn the power words, and vanquish your foes. And when you reach the top, consume the Tormentor and become the true ruler over necrotic magic, ending the reign of the old Necromancer once and for all. Finally, go to Frisco, refuse to give a crown to Norton, get the anti-virus, talk to your partner, go to Roy Bean's House of Justice, buy the jelly bean, eat it, go back to Frisco, and board the train with Susie left in the dust. We don't have a high enough level of safe cracking for obvious reasons, but Norton is easy enough to take down on this first go. Pass the Moxie check by taking the key from the train hijackers and enter the next car. From here, it's a very easy mysticality check to take the shaving cream pie and throw it at Norton. Next step is to go down, read the note, check cabin number 3, and then get the key from the luggage. Finally, we reach the end of the train and confront Norton one last time. Buffalo, Buffalo, Buffalo Bill takes the first shot, taking off half his health. And then... you rain death upon your foes! Nearly 5 years ago, I bought and fell in love with this game. There are a ton of laughs, challenges, and secrets that I haven't shown off in this video, so please, buy this game if you haven't. And between this and the DLC, I'd definitely say it's worth the money. I'd like to give a frustrated shout out to the fandom wiki. All of the information from the game has been put onto the internet because of it, whether I like the formatting of the website or not. I'd like to give a huge shout out to me. I went through the wiki and made a spreadsheet of every single item and effect in the game to help with optimizing a build for taking down the cultists of Roberto. At some point in the future, I will see if I can post a link to it for anyone to use in the description. I'd like to give thanks to Godfriend, Unnamed337, and Adon Mez for supporting me when I first did this run back in 2021. They helped to give the motivation to see this run through to the end, and I'm really grateful for that. I want to take a moment to thank everyone who worked on this game, and a special shout out to the Twitter person that runs the asymmetric Twitter for answering my question about what font the game is. Thank you for such an amazing product, and for taking the time to answer any questions I had. Now then, if you enjoyed this video, drop a like and leave a comment telling me all about it. Should you want to watch more of my challenge run content, I have a few videos to watch, so feel free to browse. If you want to be notified about future videos that I put out, then hit subscribe and ring that bell. I prioritize quality over quantity, so rest assured knowing that I try my best with every video that I put out. For those who want to see any of the runs that I did, a playlist will be linked in the description for the stream bots, the Bean Slinger run, and the Snake Oiler run. And finally, I have been Generic Mystic. Thank you all for watching, and happy 5th anniversary to West of Loathing.